Hey, DeAaron, we just talked to Domas about this, and he said he would like some input. And I think we'd like to know, would you like some input on the coaching search and what's about to unfold here in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I want input or anything like that, but I guess just being in the loop. I guess I would call it. But I just hope that we can find somebody that we can have for a long time, and continue to help us develop into a winning team.
Yeah, DeAaron, reflecting back on this season for yourself individually, like how do you feel like it went in general, good and bad, and what do you hope to improve on going into next year?
Just everything for myself. I don't think I wouldn't say I had a good season. I think I had a good stretch before I got hurt, but that's pretty much all it is. Before those, I guess, last 20 games, I don't feel like I played even close to my ability.
Kind of back to Gentry there for a minute. Just the time that he took over obviously wasn't the easiest situation. He'd been there before. Just how do you think he did, and is there much you can take from the experience under him in these past 2 years?
I think he handled it great. Obviously, at that time, I think everybody kind of saw it coming, and the way, like you said, he's been through it before, and he talked about that, and it's never easy. Being in his position, obviously, we can talk about the players and everybody else, but being that guy that has to, step up and be a head coach for the remainder of a season is definitely, a difficult job. But I think he did a good job of trying to keep everybody together and trying to be able to finish out this season strong. I mean, he's a true professional, and I think everybody, who's ever come across him will tell you that. But it's a difficult thing to go through. I hadn't been through, a coach firing in the middle of a season before, and he handled it with the utmost professionalism. And I mean, that's why he's been in this league for so long, for as long as probably longer than I've been alive. He's been in this league, so you kind of see why. You definitely see why he's been here this long.
Yeah, DeAaron, you guys need to get together and build chemistry. How are you going to do that this summer? Are you going to go down to visit Domas? Are you going to visit guys? Are you going to have camps? What are you guys going to do?
Oh, well, probably half the NBA spends their offseason in LA. So I think a lot of guys will make their way there just to try to get some weeks in together and working out and just being around each other. I think that's kind of what builds chemistry. And that's already, we've talked about that as from GMs down and players just trying to be around each other this summer. So those things are definitely in works. We're definitely talking about that a lot.
Not really having talked to you with the hand injury. Just what happened there? I know it was in I think the Milwaukee game. And
yeah, it was like the first couple minutes. Giannis was going to Sebastian. That's a strong motherfucker. We all know that. And I thought I hit his knee, but I actually got my hand on the ball, and ball went straight through my hand and kind of just stretched out, ligaments, and it was fat. Like my hand was I literally couldn't see the bones and everything on my hand. And the next day I was like, I don't even know how I finished that game. And I think Drew knew it. Like Drew knew I couldn't even dribble with my right hand. So he was just playing me on my left side, and it was bad that day. But after that, it took some time. I think if I was probably able to play, it was probably and I told him, I was like, around probably after the Orlando game, I was like, I can actually dribble the ball now. Like before that, I couldn't dribble the ball at all. But I was like, I could have been a spot up shooter. That's probably all I could have done. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm feeling much better now, and obviously going through rehab and stuff, and trying to get back on the court as soon as possible.
And then we just talked to Domas a minute ago about it, but like when he got here, I mean, you were already playing pretty well, but it seemed like you even took a bigger jump that looked like something we had seen in previous seasons. What do you attribute that to? I know he was just kind of talking about even having the ball in your hands a little bit more.
I mean, obviously somebody like that, he takes a little bit of pressure off of you. Well, he takes a lot of pressure off of you because he's such a dynamic roller, a guy that can post up. And obviously I've always talked about it, like I'm seeing the best defenders every night, no matter who it is. But we talk about it, the way he screens, the way he passes. he opens up a lot more opportunity. Obviously, I think I scored pretty well off the dribble, but just being able to have him out there and having guys that just know how to play and move, something that we obviously need to do more of. But it just opens up and gives you a wider range of opportunity to make plays and to score.
DeAaron, we say this every year, but it feels like this summer is really big for you guys as a team. What do you want to see the franchise do this summer? How do you want them to be aggressive? How do you want to see them sort of fill the holes here?
I think most winning teams are kind of built the same. You got your 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 guys, and everything else is kind of length and shooting. Just being built like that. I think we have pretty good foundation, where we're at. But obviously, you can never have too much length and too much shooting in the NBA. That's at a premium.
Just want to touch on Gentry and just ask you, for you personally, how has it been adjusting to all the coaching changes that you've seen since you've been here?
I'm a hooper. I go out and I play basketball. That's kind of how I've looked at it. I think a lot of guys, to be their best selves, definitely need structure. As far as an organization, teammates, coaches. Obviously, we haven't had the best. It hasn't been the best since I've been here. But that's something that that's why we want to be able to build towards the future and have that structure in place and just be consistent in everything that we're doing as far as practicing, working out, going into a game. But not having that just yet, for me, I think I'll definitely be better once I have that. But at the end of the day, I go out there every day and I go play basketball. I've been doing that my whole life, and it's never going to change regardless of the situation that I've been in.
Hey, Fox, you've spoken before about wanting to grow as a leader, and the camera caught you a number of times towards the end of the season, especially interacting with DeAaron Mitchell during timeouts on the bench. Can you speak to that experience, being out of the game, but being able to work with him and the growth that he saw over the final few weeks?
Yeah, I think every player that's ever been injured could probably tell you that it's easier to kind of process the game once you're sitting down and you're watching it and you can see everything that's going on. I was just throwing him my 2 cents, and we all know DeAaron is probably the hardest worker that we've all probably seen outside of maybe Kobe, but he's a listener. Once teams would start blitzing him and throwing different coverages at him, this is stuff that I've seen in my years playing, and I would just tell him how I would attack it. Obviously, we're very different players, but just trying to give him that type of insight and little cheat codes to get around some of the stuff that you see when teams throw junk defenses at you. That's pretty much all I was trying to do, and we all saw it. He finished the season as strong as probably anybody in the league. And definitely any guards in the league. So just trying to help him with that and, try to hit the ground running next year. I feel like I finished, the games that I was playing, I finished the season strong, and he finished the season strong. So we just want to hit the ground running next year.
Around this time last year over Zoom, you were telling us one of the things you learned last year and took away from last year is in games that you're not great, you have to be at least good. How would you assess how that went for you this season? Is that still a focus for you going forward?
Definitely still a focus. Like I said early on, I don't think I was playing well. Truthfully, the first game, I had a good first game, and then after that, it kind of, went downhill. But next year, if I can, try to replicate what I did in the first game, and then try to keep that going, be consistent throughout the entire season, then I think we're probably in a different place.
Hey, Fox. 2 things. One.
Damn, Jason, you ain't want to come today? You got COVID?
No, buddy. Just busy, and didn't realize you guys were getting together until just a little while ago. So my apologies. Sorry I couldn't be there today. So what kind of traits and characteristics do you think you should be looking for in a head coach? And then secondly, you just mentioned DeAaron. Like, there's been a lot of talk about like how you two potentially could fit together as a backcourt, and I just wonder what your thoughts on that are.
For me, like, I'm not thinking too much into the head coaching thing. we let the front office do what they do. I mean, I have trust in them. And then whenever, if they ask me, I'll give my 2 cents, but I'm not really going into it thinking like that. But just someone that's truthfully just going to, I guess, instill discipline and try to change the culture. Obviously we've talked about that before. And then with DeAaron, I mean, I think he can fit in a variety of different, schemes and lineups because, one, he can guard anybody, truthfully. And then we saw him get better with his shot and with his playmaking. So I mean, that's pretty much it. He's guarding whoever you ask him to guard, and on the offensive end, he's gotten better at playmaking and shooting the ball throughout the season. So, and obviously, with his struggles, he also had great games, and that's what you see in a rookie. But with his work ethic, he'll definitely come back a better and probably different player.
Hey, DeAaron. Say, man, you just finished up your 5th year here in Sacramento, and there's only 158 wins and 232 losses since you've been here. You and Harrison, yes, are the last two. You just a few more months than him as far as players within this organization. Just want to know, the way things been going, how important is this next season is? Because I know you don't want to, continue going through these losing ways. Let me put it like that. Just want to know what your thoughts is as putting emphasis on this next season of trying to do something and make something happen, despite all of the things that happened within the last 5 seasons.
I mean, I think pretty much going into every season, it's always been, important for me to win. I mean, I think it's important to everybody. It's definitely been difficult, I would say. Kind of coming into the situation, but like I've always said, you want to be a part of that team that kind of turns it around, and that's never changed. I want to be a winner at the end of the day. That's how I go into every game, into every season. Trying to win every single game that I step my foot on the court, and I wouldn't say it's like more important than any other season, but going into it, you don't want to lose. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not trying to lose, and it's a difficult thing. It's hard to do. It's definitely hard to do in the NBA, and it's hard to try to turn a team and a franchise around. But it's something that I'm willing to put the work in to change. And I think if you change that here, it's not like changing it anywhere else, truthfully.